Hi, Faye Hollins here from outshineconsulting.com, and today I'm going to talk to you about how your friends can ruin your career and relationships. Now, friends can be some of the most supportive people in our lives, giving us advice when we want it and siding with us when we really need to hear that we're right. But the only problem is that sometimes friends tell us what they think we want to hear, which isn't always the best advice and in fact can be quite detrimental when it comes to making important decisions regarding your career and relationships, for example. Think about it for a moment. How often has a friend asked you something like, and this is really one for the ladies, does my bum look big in this? Or they've gone on a complete rant and at the end said, do you think I'm right? And you've merely given them the answer that you know they clearly want to hear. This happens all of the time, and we don't want to make our mates feel bad. And all too often, we're more interested in maintaining a good, healthy friendship than we are offering really effective counsel and helping that friend move forward in the right direction and deal with the issue at hand. Often because that conversation can be much more difficult and confronting. So we take the easy road and we give them the advice that they want to hear, which might not necessarily be the advice they need to hear. Now, if you recognise that you can also be on the flip of that, so you can be receiving the advice that isn't really what you need to hear, but it's what you want to hear, and that's not the best advice you can get to help you move forward. Now, the obvious problem with this kind of social conditioning is that if you look to all of your friends for all of the advice that you get in your life, you probably won't be getting a very accurate picture of the truth or the nudge in the right direction that you need to make a really smart decision about something in your life. Now, consider your career for a moment. Imagine that you've been hanging out for promotion and you think you deserve a promotion because you worked for a company for a certain period of time, for example. When you don't get that promotion, does your friend tell you, they don't deserve you, or your boss is an idiot, you should have received that promotion? Or do they challenge you to think constructively about how you've added value to that company or how you've demonstrated that you're really ready to take that next step up? The reality is that perhaps your boss made a very wise decision not to promote you, and it's actually your complacency and lack of effort that meant you didn't get the promotion. But your friend being an enabler and giving you what you want to hear reinforces that you're right and nothing was your fault, which is not a very empowering mindset if you really do want to get ahead in your career. Now, it takes a good and often very brave friend to give you that kind of brutal truth, and not everyone is going to do that for you, as you won't do that for everyone you know, because as I said before, it can be quite a daunting conversation and can be quite confronting to have that conversation with a friend. So getting impartial advice that can sometimes be, tough to take is often much easier coming from a third party. For example, from someone like myself as a coach or a counsellor or another trained professional. So why is that? Well, basically we're trained to do exactly that and we're paid to do exactly that. So we're not there to be your best friend. We're not there to enable your perhaps warped sense of reality, for example, but instead we're there to give you a refreshing perspective on what's really going on in your life and to push you forward in the right direction where your friends will maybe ordinarily give up, or that conversation gets a little bit tricky. So enjoying camaraderie with your friends is an absolutely important part of life. It's critical. But just make sure that when you're making decisions about areas of your life that are important, you're getting the advice that you really need and not just the advice that you think you want. And that's going to allow you to move forward in the right direction. And be sure to recognise that even your bestest buddy in the whole wide world might not be capable of giving you that kind of advice. So I hope you found this segment interesting today. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to get some more advice on career coaching or time management, please visit outshineconsulting.com, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.